What's going on, everybody? This is Masaki from State 483, and today we're going to do a quick video on event bosses. So one thing I'm still kind of seeing a lot of people do is they're going into event bosses and really just not doing that much damage, and that's really hurting your rewards. So what are event bosses? Well, every so often you have these seasonal events that happen with SOS, and what I mean is that this section here called Festival, what happens is that usually day 1, 2, 3, and 4, the first 3 or 4 days, you're going to have one of these bosses you can kill, right? They kind of rotate. They're all going to be a little different. So for example, Summer Games, you have to kill this infected referee. Overall, the idea is the same. So let's talk about this boss, right? This is super rewarding. So especially if you're free to play, you definitely should be maximizing event bosses. What do I mean by maximizing? Every day you're going to have up to a maximum of 20 chances for attack. This thing recovers just like stamina does, and you recover one chance every, I think, about an hour or so. So it does kind of stack up, but you definitely want to use all your chances because the rewards are really good. So let's talk about the rewards first. The rewards are going to be split between based on how much damage you do, right? So the more damage you do on an event boss, the more rewards you get. So I'll kind of show you what that looks like. The reward cap happens at 900k damage, right? And that's usually about a little bit more than 50% of the event boss's health. I think it's about 53%. And you're going to cap at some amount of energy drinks, the biocaps, which is the really key here, and also the experience, the chief experience, and obviously combat manuals. So you're getting really good rewards that are useful for all of your sort of developments, right? Obviously your heroes here, your chief level here, and biocaps, which is useful for everything. And the fact that you get 200 for every 8 stamina you spend, you pretty much can't get this kind of rates, right, anywhere else, doing any other events. So highly rewarding. Now, if you do a little bit less, what happens here is you're going to get a little bit less chief experience, but your biocaps are still pretty high. So try to aim for 50%. And especially if you can work with your alliance, where if somebody spawns one and you go in attacking it the same time they do, you both can cap out on rewards. So it's a little tricky what I'm talking about, but basically the game works like this. If a referee is hit about, let's say, halfway through, so let's see if I have one ready here. So if you have a referee or event boss that's kind of like already half killed, I guess this one's dead. So I'll just do one really quickly. If it's half killed, then you can only go as high as the basically health that's left over. So let's say the leftover health is only 700,000. That means you're going to only be able to do 700,000, which kind of lowers your reward a little bit. So, but if you have 2 players going into the same referee when they're at 100% health, and we both, let's say, do 52% damage, the referee's killed, but we both maximize out on rewards as well. There's a reward that you get after you after you kill the referee as well. It's usually a couple speed ups. It's not anything significant, but you should still aim to kill these as you spawn them. Okay, so how do you do the most damage? And this is the key. So we first go ahead and spawn one. So, here's a good example. So I have already spawned one, but it looks like people are not able to kill it. It's left over 24%, right? So what happens now, if I attack this again, I will basically have cap out the damage at 24. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it and just clear it up. Usually I wouldn't even do this. I would try to have other people in the alliance hit it. And the reason why you want everyone else in the alliance hitting it is because what that allows to do is everybody who made at least one hit on the boss will get the completion reward. So the reward you get for finally defeating the boss. Anyway, so this should be pretty easy with the team setup I have. So we'll do this quickly, and I'll show you how to set up your team for event bosses like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and spawn another one. All right, so this is 100%. The first thing you want to do is your squad should look something like this. Mike is a must-have for this. So other videos we already talked about it. Mike is the best hero killer ever. So if there's any sort of boss type of infected you're dealing with in a challenge, you should be using Mike. Travis I use because I can already cap it on damage, and Travis will reduce this stamina spend as well. So if you don't use Travis, let's say you switch over to here, Maddie, which is something that a lot of people will use, you do spend a little bit more stamina. So it's up to you. I can already cap out on damage with Travis, so I just use him instead, right? And I'll show you. I mean, basically with my setup, you can do this very easily with very poor gear as well. This is my farm account, by the way. So just for comparison. For the brawler, I normally use Chef. And the reason I use Chef is because he doesn't have any auto stunning with his attacks, right? Like Ash is good damage wise because she has grenades and she has landmines. So there's double damage here. But the problem with her is that she does stun automatically with enhanced landmine. So it's a little bit tricky because she will throw like, you know, landmines that are kind of like it's gonna stun, and that's where it gets a little tricky. Nicola is same thing. He stuns people too much, and you really don't want to be stunning the boss because Mike is gonna give you extra damage with sure shot here, right? With triple tap. Basically, this hits the boss 3 times. But only triggers when somebody gets hit. So you do want like Chef to be taking damage. The other reason to use Chef is because he heals. So you kind of get some of that health back, right? So obviously if you have a brawler that doesn't really do any stunning, that just kind of takes damage, it will work. So let's do this. For this round, I'm just going to try and see if I can do, actually, you know what? Here, let me use Chef. I'll show you my normal strategy, and then I'll see if I can do the same thing with Emma and Eli. So remember, for event bosses, always set to manual mode and then walk up. For this boss specifically, I set Chef about halfway through. Every boss is going to be a little bit different. They do a lot of damage, which makes it kind of like useful to kind of gauge where to put your hero or how to dodge. Sometimes you might also want to stun the boss before he does this kind of like a super move. But basically, it's kind of like up to you how you do this part. It usually won't affect damage that much, but you do want to be throwing Mike's grenade Chef's grenade as much as possible. So over here, I didn't really quite hit damage cap, but I'm pretty close to it. I noticed that like on my computer when I'm playing this part, it's a little bit slower for something like grenade throwing. So sometimes the damage is a little bit lower here. But it doesn't really matter. This is a lot of damage, and the more important part is I have already taken the hero down to 50%. So if somebody were to kind of attack this while I was attacking it, then of course they can do the rest of the 50% and then just both cap out on rewards, and also we can both kind of kill this thing for the kill reward, which is right here, right? Okay. So let's check something else too. So actually, I want to try this again, except this time I'm going to swap out Chef for Emma Eli and see if this does a little bit better. Okay. Let's walk up. Emma Eli does have a better range, so I wonder if this changes anything with respect to that. He also heals better when he's lower health, which could be interesting as far as like damage goes. Okay, so that was really lucky log trap by Travis, so that should help a little bit. Okay, so we should be healing now, I think. I don't know why he's not healing normally at this point. Okay, so I guess it will be a problem if he doesn't heal, because as you can see, once the boss kills that hero, the boss has to walk more to hit the next one, so that's going to take a little bit more time. Okay, so but let's look at the rewards here. So if you hit this much damage, it's a little bit less on the chief experience, which is kind of annoying. This you should try to get 1,000. But over here, if you do a little bit less than that, you're still going to cap out on biocaps, but you do get less, combat manual in this. So that's something to think about. Yeah, in general, honestly, just you should be doing this. You should be maximizing this reward, and because it only happens for the first 3 days, you really should be doing it early rather than later. Event bosses are really, really great for rewards, so make sure you cap out. Cool, that's it. Short video today, but I hope you learned something. This is super helpful. I'm going to share this with all my alliance right now so they can all learn how to do this and make sure they're capping out rewards as well. So it's been Masaki from State 483, and I just want to say, hey, everybody, have a great day and stay classy.